Welcome back to digital class, and this is the discussion for booklet R1, and now we are looking at animals. Okay, now we know that classification of animals are basically in simple divided into 6 main groups. As you can see, 6 main groups. So we have mammals, we have birds, fish, insect, reptiles, and amphibians. So now we'll discuss each of these one by one, and I need you to pay your full attention. Okay? So basically you can see that mammals, then it grows down, there are different things, right? So all of these things I will just call it as the common characteristic. These are the common characteristics of the animals, okay? In simple, okay? So mammals. So what are the common characteristics of mammals? So mammals have hair as the outer body covering. Now let me just put a very important star here, because we need to know that actually these 6 main groups are basically depends on their outer body covering. Again, I repeat. So these 6 groups of animals are actually classified based on their outer body covering as the main things to classify. Okay, so first, mammals have hair as their outer body covering, and they actually feed their young with milk. Okay, so basically all the milk that you might have drink before are actually other mammals, right? The animals, and they reproduce by giving birth to their young alive. Okay, and of course some of the examples would be like lion, panda, dolphin, whales, blah blah. Okay, so as you can see here, we have this lion as an example. They have hair as their outer covering body, gives birth to young alive, and they feed their young with milk. Okay, however, there are always exceptions in some of the cases here. Okay, so here I actually listed that they are mammals that do not give birth to their young alive, but rather they will lay eggs. Okay, so what are some of the examples? Like platypus, as you can see here, and we have spiny anteater as example here in the pictures. Okay, so these are basically the mammals, but they do not give birth to young alive, but rather lay eggs. Okay, so next we have birds. Birds, they actually have feathers. They have feathers as their outer body covering. Again, as I mentioned just now, the outer body covering is basically the main things they use to classify animals. And birds actually have feathers. Again, we know that mammals have hair, birds have feather. Okay? And so birds actually have something called beak. As you can see, here, let me just circle here. Basically, this is the beak. Okay, and some of the examples you can see here is eagles, parrot, dove, crow. Okay, but something, again, there's always an exceptions here. Not all birds can fly. As you can see here, ostrich and penguin. These are the 2 birds that cannot fly. Okay, so now let me just stop here for a moment, and I just want to quick explain to you when you are answering questions. For example, if the question asks you what are the characteristics of birds, please don't write that birds can fly. Okay, because we know that not all birds can fly. Okay, so we can use some of the tips here, as I mentioned here. Like example, they have feathers at their outer covering, they have big. Use something like this as your characteristics of birds, rather than saying that birds can fly. Okay. Now the next thing we have here is fish, and again we know that they are using outer body covering as their main classification. So we know that outer body covering of fish is wet scales. So basically, fish have wet scales as the outer body covering. And one of the very good example or good characteristic you should know about fish is that they breathe through gills here. Okay, and some of the examples here like shark, clownfish, goldfish, and swordfish. Okay, As you can see, I have an example here. This is the gill, okay? Or I've actually given you a black and white here. This is the gills. And this is the wet scales, this is the wet scales. Again, however, there's always exception. Here, not all fish lay eggs. Some might give birth. Now, in our knowledge, right, we always think that fish lay eggs, right? But again, there's always exception here. And some of the exceptions here, as you can see, is molly and swordtail. Okay, these are the two exceptions. Let's move on to the next one, which is insect. Insect, basically you have 3 body parts and have 6 legs and have a pair of feelers. Okay, so one of a good example or good way of remembering insect is you can just draw a simple drawing here. 3 body parts, let me just draw 3 body parts, 6 legs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you have 2 feelers. Yeah, and that basically is an insect. Okay, so 3 body parts. Let me just highlight for you: 3 body parts, 6 legs, and a pair of feelers. Okay, and some of the good examples of insect, as you can see, are like ants, mosquito, bees, grasshopper, and housefly. Okay, these are the insect. And here next we have reptiles, and again, reptiles, the special thing about reptiles is that it has dry scales. It has dry scales as the outer body covering. And some of the examples, as you can see here. Okay, snake, crocodile, all these things. Okay. And the next one we have amphibians. Amphibians, what is most special about amphibians is that they can live on land and in water. Land and in water. And because they can live on land and water, both land and water, that must be something special about them, which is in the way their in their method of respiration. Okay, what happens is on land, they actually breathe through lungs, but in water, they actually breathe through something called the moist skin. Now, this is a very important word here, moist skin, because this is something that helps them to live in water also. Okay, and as you can see some of the examples here, and again you can look at here the moist skin, okay, and it is basically about the animals. Okay, so again we have these 6 broad groups of animals and they are categorized in this way, and you must understand how they are categorized and what are the characteristics of these 6 different groups. Okay, thank you, see you, bye bye.